What if I told you the secret to your best year ever isn't about looking forward? It's about looking back. Using this method, I found out that 80% of my happiness came from just 3 types of activities, and 90% of my stress came from things that I can easily avoid. And the best part, this only takes you about an hour. So we're gonna plan your best year ever with this 60-minute life audit. The idea came from one of my favorite entrepreneurial and time audit experts, Tim Ferriss. He's never been a big fan of New Year's resolutions, with good reason. According to a commonly cited study from the University of Scranton, about 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. Yikes. And research from Strava, a social network for athletes, identified January 17th as Quitter's Day, the day that most people give up on their New Year's resolutions. So what does Tim do instead? A simple little end-of-year audit called the Past Year Review. This isn't just about reflection though. It's about engineering your perfect year using data from your own life. Let's do it right now and get you ahead of the game for the new year. So I want you to flip open a blank page and get yourself 2 colors to write with. I prefer green and something that looks a little red. And we're just going to write 2 words at the top. In green, positive, and in red, you guessed it, negative. Pretty cut and dry. The goal here is to find what are we gonna put in the positive column and what are we going to put in the negative. We wanna know a lot about the positive. We wanna know what makes us happy. We wanna carry that into our new year. But we also wanna know what doesn't make us happy, the things that we would like to easily avoid if possible. But if we don't spotlight them in the right way, it's very hard to intentionally do that. So how are we going to populate this list? It's time to pull out your calendar. So I can't show you my calendar, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm doing here behind the scenes. What you're gonna do, and for me it's digital, for you it might be something else. I just have so much data, it's gotta be digital for me to schedule most of my life. You're going to go all the way back to January of this year. Ideally, you're doing this at the end of the year so that you can review the majority of what went on. Starting with the first week of the year, look for people, activities, and commitments. Specifically the ones that trigger peak positive or negative emotions in you. See how nobody can do this for you? It's about how you feel. If they trigger an emotion, write that person, activity, or commitment in the appropriate column. Let's get started. I'm gonna hold the green pen because I bet I had lots of positive. Nope. Beginning of January for me and many, many weeks after, it was all about pregnancy, and I was constantly sick. So I have peak negative feelings about pregnancy at the moment, but I'm not gonna blame pregnancy so much as it was being pregnant during the winter and being sick all the time. So I was constantly sick at the beginning of January until probably, when was my baby born? Yeah, then. Just before I got sick, I remember this specifically, I went to 2 New Year's parties with family. So family events. Those were positive until my health took a turn, and then I was down for the count for a while. The second week of the year, I had a really exciting shoot for CNBC. So let's say press shoot in New York City. That was a huge positive. Ooh, and then I went to my friend's party. I love that. I love getting to see my friends. My calendar is absolutely saturated at the beginning of January with editing. And no, I'm not a huge fan of that anymore. And fortunately, I've already course corrected that in a big way. Oh, here's a hot take. Nail appointments. I am going on a full year right now without getting my nails done, almost. I got it done a couple times at the beginning of the year, and I've taken a break because I got so sick with the baby before she was born and then just never had time to go get them done. Hot take, natural nails for the win, but we'll see. I might change my mind soon. One of my favorite things I see on my calendar every week, and I go over it so fast because it's just so natural to me now, but now it's like sitting in that, it makes me feel so good, is my time with my business coach. It amps me up. Even when I was really sick, those moments changed the game for me. Oh, and there's some really good videos I remember filming here. So we're gonna say filming Amy TV. My mom visiting, I love that. Oh, I don't do nail appointments, but my whole life that I love is my hair appointments with Michael. He's my favorite. Oh, and then there was this whole season of having a baby, which was wonderful. Just like positive. Sienna is a huge positive. And of course, Bianca, because she became a big sister. So much admin and email. I'm just bleh, so much. guest speaking. I did a couple of things. I partnered with Tony Robbins. I did some other guest speaking for people. So that's a huge thing. I love chatting with people on podcasts, going on their live events, and having amazing conversations with their communities. That's one of my favorite things to do. And of course, I love coaching. I love coaching. It's really picked up in full gear this past month, but I ran a couple of test cohorts in the summer. I'm in May, June now. And it was so successful. That is why my inner circle made a huge comeback. So dinner with my husband. We don't go out very often. We're working on that. We need more date nights, but he took me out for my birthday and that was really nice. Oh, and that is about the time that I ended up training for the half marathon, which I loved because I basically got to batch working out with the baby sleeping in the stroller. And so I was able to take care of myself during that phase that, you know, you can get stuck at home a lot. Oh, yes. Going back home. Loved taking my babies back to Columbus, seeing my friends and family, and speaking on stage. That is one of my favorite things in the world and has made a comeback this year. I went to Vegas to speak at Forward in July, and oh my goodness, it was just fantastic. There were definitely some calls, just like business calls that I took that I did not need to take. It's always good to connect with people, but you don't have to say yes just because somebody wants to get you on the phone. And that's still something I have to remind myself of all the time. I'm very good at saying no, but there are times where I'm like, oh, maybe this is a good one. And I just get reminded that, you know what, there was nothing in alignment, there was no agenda, and there was no potential next step for after the call, so it didn't need to happen. Bedtime alone. Do you know how hard it is to do bedtime alone with a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old who literally go to bed at the same time? It's hard. And when my husband has business meetings to go to, I become a big, huge brat. And I let him know I hate it. So I don't like doing bedtime alone. It is a 2-adult job. Shout out to the single parents out there because you astound me. I can't. Oh, I love I don't have room, but it's like kind of a family thing. I'm just gonna put the corn maze because what that reminds me of is taking the kids, mostly Bianca because she's old enough to run around, but taking the kids for activities on the weekend when you're trying to fill those big blocks of time where the whole family's together, but you can go stir crazy at home. So when we actually have stuff to go out and do, it's so much fun, especially something like visiting the apple orchard, going pumpkin picking, and going to the corn maze. We did that a few times this fall. Oh, and we went to the wedding in Nashville. I'm gonna write that here, wedding, Nashville, for Blake and Emily, and that was fun. It was a little scary leaving Bianca, but she had such a good time with my mom, so Sienna came with us, and she's just much more compact, easy to take places. And lots of good family and friend events. Oh, I had a spontaneous coffee bomb. This is like something I want to do more often. I was in Nashville, and I spontaneously texted one of my clients, and I said, hey, I'm in your city. Come have coffee with me if you can. And she was so shocked. And it was such a lovely time because I don't get to go out and meet people very much anymore. When the new phase of my life is about my kids and my family, the times you do travel, you have to make the most of them. And that's one of my ways of filling my cup. I left the baby with my husband and I met her for coffee and it was so nice. It was like just an opportunity to see how she's feeling about everything. And that energizes me in my work. It gets me more excited as a coach and in what I teach here. And so yeah, the coffee bomb. I think I'm gonna make that a thing. The traveling coffee bomb. Okay, what else? Oh, here's one. 2 commitments. I'm just gonna say 2 commitments a day that are like 2+ hours long. What I'm referring to usually is like a breakfast and a dinner or a breakfast and a lunch. And when they're on the same day, it's extremely stressful because the kids are very adaptable for whatever we want to go out and do. But it's annoying if you can't at least give them the majority of the day to get their wake up time and their sleep time in so that you can go rogue for a few hours. So there was a day where we had a breakfast and a lunch to go to and I was like, this is horrible. I was like taking the baby out in the freaking parking lot to stroll her around so she could go to sleep because it just was not conducive for that. So we overcommitted. We don't like an overcommitment situation. No. Okay, so now that I've been through the majority of my year thus far, I am so happy to see how many positives on one side than the negatives. But now we need to assess the situation. This is all fine and good, but we need to know what we're gonna do with this data going forward. Once you have your full list, Tim says to go back through each side and look for the top 20% that gave you the most reliable reliable and impactful peaks. So I'm just gonna grab a marker here. I'm gonna count this up. So I have 18 on my positive and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on my negative, which feels good. So 20% of 18, we're gonna look at, you get 3. We'll say we get 3, and 20% of 7 will round up to 2, because can we have more than 2 on the negative side? That would be ideal. So we're picking the most reliable and impactful positive experiences on this side. For me, there's gonna be a bunch here that kind of fall into the family category. Family events, Sienna and Bianca and my husband. Like Sienna, Bianca, and my husband are by far and away going to be the same category of highlight here. So let me just do this. You know, time with my husband and with my kids. That's actually, we're gonna call that 1. It's very tough competition for you to give me so much amazing peak, awesome energy than my family gives me. And I would say that the thing that's coming in as a close second is coaching in Amy Landino's Inner Circle. That's like been a game changer because I'm seeing the changes in these people's lives and it gives me more energy every single day. I have to say the same with my business coach, like getting that energy from him. So I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna call that 2. I'm gonna call that 2. Oh, I have a really fun business trip coming up too that I'm so amped about, and I wish I could count it in this, but I haven't done it yet. I feel like one of the things that gets me very excited is traveling to go back home, because it's usually tied with a business trip. And I know that's so messed up, but it's like I get family and work all in one shot. So I'm going to cheat again because this is telling me how I feel about my life. Going back to Columbus and traveling to speak on stage, it works out fabulously, because whenever somebody wants me to speak, I go to Columbus first and drop my kids off with my mom. And they get time with her, and I get to enjoy that time, and then I get on a plane, go speak, and come back. So that's like a combo I'm adoring at the moment, and so that's gonna be my number 3. All right, so let's do the negative side. I mean, obviously peak impact and annoying is being sick. I don't want to be sick, okay? It's not a thing that I like. But is it that reliable? No, I have to do the best that I can to not get sick by taking care of myself. So it's not exactly something that I can circle here. Reliably, video editing needs to happen. So I'm gonna circle that. Anytime I have to edit video for some reason, if there's like a break and I have gotten to the point now where I don't have to do that. It's very rare. But if it comes back into my ecosystem, I'm like, no, take it away. So video editing is peak negative for me. And I would also have to say overcommitting. I made this very specific here, but if you just had to put this in like an easiest thing possible, overcommitting in one day. I'm not interested in it because I'm engineering my life to be about my family and my very, very, very best work. So overcommitting for no arbitrary reason just doesn't do it for me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take everything in the positive and we're going to schedule more of it. So what I'm going to do is make sure that all of my coaching calls for the year are on the calendar for next year. All of my coaching calls with the people that I need assisting me. So my business coach, my fitness coach, my life coach, anybody else that's coaching me because we just love a little bit of help, they're all scheduled for the entire year as well. This is also gonna help me get ahead on preparing for my group. So I'm also scheduling the trainings that go into facilitating my coaching program. So all of that gets added to the calendar. It takes up space. Marking out time for my family, easily said, but must be done. So marking off time in the evenings and saying, this is your cutoff time. There's no work after this. This is time for the kids. This is time for the husband. Asking my husband to get more dates on the calendar. Let's find out when we can go on dates together. Let's get those scheduled at the cadence we want them for the new year. I also love researching local events that I'm excited about and getting them on the calendar and saying, okay, well, I know what I'm doing with my family that weekend. That's how we ended up going to the corn maze. We scheduled it because we knew when it was happening. And so now you've blocked it out. You're not going to accidentally commit to a family thing or something else that's not what you're excited about. You can get pumped about the event that you wanted to do together because you marked it off. So I'm marking off all that coaching, all that time with family, and anytime there's a speaking engagement, I'm going to start building on that. So I know I've got one. What else can I do? How can I take the kids to Columbus, spend a little bit of extra time there, go see my friends and hang out with my family, go speak? Then building on that trip, how can I build on the speaking engagement? Maybe do a coffee bomb or whatever the case. But those things, that's going to fill up so much of my calendar. It will be very easy to tell people, hey, I'd love to do that thing you're asking me to do right now, but my schedule is really overcommitted. So start looking at that top 20% and fill your calendar up with as much of it as you can if you know it's giving you peak positive feelings. Now let's do the opposite with the negative, and I'm gonna go back to red for this. Negative equals not to do. So video editing and overcommitting myself to things that do not track back to my positive list are a not to do. And I've made a list right there. Amy, your job is not to video edit. Amy, your job is not to have multiple outside meals in the day where you have to coordinate all your children and family and get everybody dressed and make sure everybody's good and make sure everybody gets their naps in. No, your job is not to do that. So create your not to-do list on the top 20% things that are negative for you. We're not going to be able to say, well, I'm not going to get sick this year. I'm not going to have any admin. I'm not going to do email. There are going to be things you don't like in your life, but the top 20% that are just tearing you down, come on, get rid of them. Just say no. Just say no. And Tim's biggest advice here, I know we talked a lot about it, but Tim's biggest advice is that you can't just have the not to do list. You can't just get rid of the negative, because the place that everybody goes wrong. And this even has to do with successful people who successfully sell a company or successfully offload tasks they don't have to do anymore. They don't figure out how to fill that time to continue to build on their fulfillment. So it's not enough to just have a not to do list. You have to fill more of your time, be intentional, take action, go to that calendar now and fill it up with the top 20% of the things that make you feel good so that you have more of an idea of what you want your life to look like.